A mother's love. The hospital waiting room was cold, sterile, and filled with the kind of silence that makes every heartbeat feel too loud. Sarah Mitchell sat with her hands clasped tightly together, her knuckles white from the pressure. Across from her, a television played the evening news, but she couldn't focus on a single word. "Mrs. Mitchell?" A doctor appeared in the doorway, clipboard in hand. Sarah stood so quickly that she felt dizzy. "Yes? How is he?" The doctor's expression was carefully neutral. "Your son is stable for now, but I won't lie to you. The next 72 hours are critical. The accident caused significant internal injuries. We've done everything we can surgically, but now it's up to him to fight." Sarah's world tilted. Her son, Marcus, her 23-year-old pride and joy, was fighting for his life because of a drunk driver who had run a red light. One moment of someone else's terrible decision had brought them here. "Can I see him?" she whispered. "Of course. Follow me." The ICU was a maze of beeping machines and hushed voices. When Sarah finally saw Marcus, she had to grip the doorframe to keep from collapsing. Her strong, athletic son, the boy who'd been a high school quarterback, who'd graduated college just 6 months ago, who had just started his dream job at an architectural firm, lay motionless, surrounded by tubes and monitors. She pulled a chair close to his bed and took his hand. It was warm, at least. That was something. "Hey, baby," she said softly, her voice cracking. "Mom's here. I'm not going anywhere, okay? You hear me? I'm right here." The hours blurred together. Nurses came and went, machines beeped their rhythmic melodies. Sarah refused to leave, refused to eat, refused to do anything but sit there and hold her son's hand. Friends came by with encouraging words and casseroles. Her ex-husband, Marcus's father, flew in from Seattle and sat with her in shifts. But even when others were there, Sarah felt utterly alone with her fear. On the second night, a young nurse named Amy brought Sarah a cup of coffee. "You should rest," Amy said gently. "There's a family room down the hall with a couch." Sarah shook her head. "What if he wakes up and I'm not here?" Amy smiled sadly. "I understand, I really do. But Mrs. Mitchell, you won't be any good to him if you collapse from exhaustion." "I'm his mother," Sarah said, as if that explained everything. And perhaps it did. Amy nodded and left the coffee on the bedside table. After she was gone, Sarah found herself talking to Marcus, telling him stories from when he was little. She reminded him of the time he tried to build a tree house at age 7 and fell out of the tree twice, but climbed right back up. She told him about his first day of kindergarten when he'd been so scared, but then he'd met his best friend Tommy and came home talking nonstop about space rockets and dinosaurs. "You've always been a fighter," she whispered. "Even when things got hard. Remember when your dad and I got divorced? You were only 12, and I know it hurt you, but you never let it break you. You kept going. You kept growing. You became this amazing young man, and Marcus, I need you to keep fighting now. I need you to fight harder than you've ever fought before." By the third day, the doctors were worried. Marcus's condition hadn't improved. If anything, he seemed to be slipping away. She could see it in their faces, hear it in their carefully chosen words. That afternoon, a new doctor came to speak with her. Dr. Chen, a kind-faced woman who specialized in trauma recovery. "Mrs. Mitchell, I want to be honest with you," Dr. Chen said, sitting beside her. "Marcus's body has been through tremendous trauma. Sometimes, even when we do everything medically right, the patient just gives up. The will to fight, to survive, it matters more than we can measure with machines." Sarah felt tears streaming down her face. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying that he needs a reason to fight. He needs to know he has something to come back to." After Dr. Chen left, Sarah sat in the darkness of Marcus's room and thought about her life, about their life together. She thought about all the sacrifices she'd made as a single mother, the extra jobs, the missed sleep, the dreams she'd put on hold. But also, she thought about all the joy, Marcus's first word, his graduation, the way his face lit up when he talked about his goals and aspirations. She stood up and leaned close to his ear. "Marcus, listen to me. I know you're tired. I know you want to rest, But you cannot leave me. Do you understand? You have so much life ahead of you. You're going to design beautiful buildings that will stand for generations. You're going to fall in love, get married, maybe give me grandchildren one day. You're going to travel the world and have adventures I can't even imagine. But more than that, more than anything else, I need you to know that you are loved, completely, unconditionally, fiercely loved. From the moment I first held you in my arms 23 years ago, you became my purpose. Fighting for you, providing for you, watching you grow, that has been the greatest honor of my life. And I'm not done yet. We're not done yet. So you fight, Marcus Mitchell. You fight your way back to me. Her voice broke on the last words, and she dissolved into sobs, her head resting at the edge of his bed. And then, so faint she almost missed it, she felt pressure on her hand, the slightest squeeze. Sarah's head shot up. "Marcus? Baby, can you hear me?" The monitors began to beep more rapidly. Nurses rushed in. And then, slowly, painfully, Marcus's eyes began to flutter open. "Mom?" His voice was barely a whisper, rough from the breathing tube they'd only removed that morning. "I'm here, baby. I'm right here." Over the next few weeks, Marcus's recovery was slow but steady. There were setbacks and complications, painful physical therapy sessions, and moments of frustration. But through it all, Sarah was there. She learned to help him walk again, celebrated when he could finally eat solid food, and listened patiently when he expressed his fears about whether he'd ever feel normal again. "You know what I remember?" Marcus said one afternoon, about a month into his recovery. "What's that?" "I remember your voice. When I was, wherever I was, in that darkness, I heard you. You told me to fight. You told me I was loved." He looked at her, his eyes bright with tears. "That's what brought me back, Mom. You brought me back." Sarah couldn't speak through the lump in her throat. She just squeezed his hand. 3 months later, Marcus was discharged from the hospital. He still had months of physical therapy ahead of him, but the doctors were amazed by his progress. On his first night home, Sarah made his favorite meal, chicken parmesan with garlic bread, and they sat at the kitchen table together, something they hadn't done since before the accident. "I've been thinking," Marcus said, pushing pasta around his plate. "Oh yeah?" "Yeah. And I realized that I spent so much time chasing success, chasing the next goal, that I forgot to appreciate what I already had. I forgot to tell the people I love how much they mean to me." He reached across the table and took his mother's hand. "Mom, I don't think I've ever properly thanked you for everything. For raising me alone after Dad left, for working those extra shifts at the diner to pay for my college application fees, for never missing a football game even when you were exhausted, for sitting by my hospital bed and refusing to give up on me. Marcus? No, let me finish. You sacrificed everything for me. Your own dreams, your own life, you put it all aside to give me a better future. And I just want you to know that I see it. I see it now. And I'm going to make it count, Mom. I'm going to live a life that honors everything you've done for me." Sarah was crying now, but they were good tears. "Baby, you don't owe me anything. Loving you, raising you, that was never a sacrifice. That was a privilege. You are my greatest accomplishment, my greatest joy. And seeing you here now, alive and healing and strong, that's all the thanks I could ever need." They sat together in the warm glow of the kitchen light, mother and son, bound by a love that literally brought him from the edge of death. Marcus did go on to live a remarkable life. He returned to his job at the architectural firm and eventually designed community centers and affordable housing projects that changed people's lives. He met and married a wonderful woman named Elena, and they gave Sarah 2 beautiful grandchildren. But more importantly, he lived with intention and gratitude, never forgetting the second chance he'd been given. And Sarah? She finally pursued some of her own dreams, taking art classes and traveling to places she'd only seen in magazines. But her greatest happiness still came from watching her son thrive, from Sunday dinners with her growing family, from the hugs her grandchildren gave her, and the way Marcus still called her every day just to say hello. Because that's what a mother's love is. Endless, unconditional, and powerful enough to call someone back from the darkness. It's the force that says you matter when the world seems to say otherwise. It's the hand that never lets go even when everything else falls apart.